trading guru that's showing you their Lamborghini, they made more money selling courses than trading. And the one teaching you their secret strategy, it's just repackaged content from 2010. Oh, and that $100,000 profit screenshot, I'll show you how you can fake that in under 30 seconds. In this video, I'm exposing the most dangerous lies spread by the most popular trading educators. You'll learn why their advice loses money, what actually works instead, and how to spot fake traders before they take your money. By the end, you'll have a BS detector that'll save you thousands in worthless courses and years of bad habits. Fair warning though, your favorite guru is probably on this list. Let me start with a simple question. If these trading gurus are so successful at trading, why are they spending 8 hours a day selling courses? You just need to do the math, guys. It's very simple. I don't think it takes a genius to realize. If you have 1,000 students paying you $997 for a course, that's over $997,000, about $1 million that you can make, which to make with trading, even if you had a $2 million account and you were to make 50% on that, let's just say you would be making the same amount of money with a significant amount more effort. I don't think I know anybody right now which has 2 million cash, which is doing 50% a year on their money consistently. Most people would rather trade with much smaller capital, or of course make a bunch of money from courses, throw that money into a shady brokerage, and then trade with that and pretend like they've always been profitable. It's kind of like a weird self-fulfilling prophecy that happens in the world of trading, where you start off faking all of your screenshots, faking all your results, paying random people to pretend to be your students, and then you start to get a bunch of sales. You start to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not even millions, from selling courses. And then of course, now you have a bunch of money, you throw that into a brokerage, you start buying prop firm accounts, you start to pass them because you don't care about losing it, you're making so much money. And every time you lose an account, it doesn't matter, you don't have to post about it. Every time you post, well, every time you pass an account, you post about it all the time. Every time you get a payout, every time you make 100K from your trading, and next thing you know, you do seem like a legit trader because you actually have been building a track record, but you built it off of lies. Unfortunately, this is what happens in most cases, and a lot of these people are not even going to go to that stage. They're just going to stay at the stage of selling millions of dollars of courses and lying to people for multiple years without ever providing any sort of actual value. Let me just clarify this, right, before we keep going. There's nothing wrong with selling a course or selling a program or helping people with anything, whether it's trading or any other industry. There's unfortunately a lot of stigma in the world of trading for those which actually help other people, which I think is unfortunate because as we've seen with most people which try to learn on their own, which try to watch hundreds of hours of YouTube videos, they don't succeed, right? Or it takes them multiple years to succeed, and they waste tens of thousands of dollars losing it in the markets and prop firm challenges and also in their brokerages. So obviously, if you could spend a couple $1,000s and work with somebody that's reputable with real results that can help you get there faster, it makes sense no matter what you're looking at. Because in the end, guys, how did we actually learn things in the past? That's the most important question that I think a lot of people need to be asking themselves. How did it work before we had universities? Well, typically we would go find somebody to actually mentor us. It would be under direct mentorship. If you wanted to be, let's say, a blacksmith, or if you wanted to be a carpenter, let's say in the 1700s or something, well, most of the time you'd have to basically just go to your dad usually, or to the local blacksmith and ask them to actually mentor you. So every day you go see him, you would start to learn what he's doing every day, and you would improve that way. Why would you do that? Because how the hell are you gonna become a blacksmith on your own? It's pretty fucking difficult to do that, especially starting with a young age. And there's so much to learn. There's so many materials that you need to buy yourself. And there's so many mistakes you're going to be making that you can avoid if you're speaking with somebody and working directly under somebody that has decades of experience. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. Once again, I want to give you guys a good framework to understand how to actually avoid the bullshit and how to identify somebody which is actually going to be able to help you. And of course, if you're just going to be looking for like free information and you don't ever want to pay for anything, there's lots of good ways to go about that, but I want to make sure you guys don't spend hundreds of hours watching a bunch of bullshit, because that's what I did. If you guys want to find out what my journey was like, you can just look at my YouTube channel and scroll to the first video. There's loads of different types of traders out there, right? Like I started off as a solo trader, and then eventually I started to join different groups because basically I was lonely and I didn't have any friends which talked about trading. I actually lost a lot of my friends because I found success with trading and it just made everything weird. I mean, imagine if your friend just spent 8 hours working, making, let's say, $80 or something, and then, you were just chilling all day playing video games, training, and you made thousands of dollars. it can get weird with some people. And so I wanted to find community, and then eventually I started to teach myself. And the whole reason why is because I found passion in it. It's something that I genuinely enjoy doing, and it gives me a lot of fulfillment. I also kind of just fell into it because when I was in these communities, I never planned on teaching. I just eventually kind of fell into it because I had a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, and a lot of value. And so a lot of people just wanted me to provide that value, and that's really how it all started. So of course, I am a trader. I've been trading for over 5 years, but I'm also an educator. I've been helping people learn trading for multiple years, and I'm very transparent that I have both of these incomes. I'm not pretending like I don't make any money from helping people. I'm not pretending like, I'm only trading. I obviously do both, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Whenever you're trading, the most important thing that you can be doing for yourself is having 2 different streams of income. You can have your normal income. It could be like a 9-to-5 job, your own business, something like that. And then you can have your trading. But if you only have your trading as your only source of income, it will be stressful, it will be difficult. And a lot of people, they dream to make trading their only source of income, but it's not the most ideal thing. Of course, you can do something along these lines where you've been working your 9-to-5 for a while, you save up a lot of money, you utilize it to fund your trading account, and you start to get good results. Once you've saved up, let's say a year's worth of savings, then you can quit your job and just focus in on trading. But once you're successful with trading and you have all of your time back, you have fucking dozens and dozens of hours every week that you can use for everything else in life apart from trading, you will naturally want to do something else with your time. Maybe at first you're going to be traveling, you're going to be just chilling, you're going to be recovering, you're going to be having fun with friends, whatever, sure. But after a while, you're going to want to have some more purpose, some more reason to, you're going to want to have something else to do basically with your time. And I think a really good thing that you can do is make your own business or find other streams of income so that you're not just relying off of trading. Because obviously if you do trading right and you follow the right steps and you're constantly on top of it and treating it seriously, you'll be fine with it as your only stream of income. But it will still have extra psychological pressure, which honestly, if you can have something else on the side, which just covers even a couple $1,000s a month just to cover expenses, even if you're making 10 times that with trading, it's still good to have. It sounds small, but it does make a big difference with your psychology, and it'll help you make a lot more with trading. So of course, I'm not saying, keep your 9-to-5 forever. The whole goal is for you to reclaim your time, your location freedom, your time freedom, etc. But do find something which you enjoy doing, which can cover something basic. It will help you quite a lot. Going back to the main topic at hand, things unfortunately do get worse. Most of these profitable traders, they can't even show you real proof of their success. And here's the kicker, even when they do, it's oftentimes completely fake. Traditional proof means pretty much nothing in the world of trading. I think the only real way that you can actually prove somebody's a profitable trader is if you sit down with them and you speak yourself as an experienced trader to them about things that only experienced traders would actually know about, things that profitable traders would know about. I don't think there's much warrant in actually showing broker statements or refreshing, the page of a prop firm or of your brokerage. I don't think that really means too much because, like I said, a lot of these will just make a bunch of money with courses, throw it into a brokerage, and then just pretend like they've always been profitable. Doesn't really mean much. And even if they do show you that, they aren't necessarily as consistent as you think. They could have multiple brokerage accounts and be basically doing the opposite trades, buying here, selling there. So they might be hiding brokerage accounts which are down multiple 6 figures and have the opposite equity curve of the one you're looking at. Same thing goes for prop firm accounts. What matters the most is that you can actually see that they have been trading for multiple years, that they actually know what they're talking about, and most importantly, that they can provide you value. Because you're not auditing them to manage your capital, you're not auditing them for them to work for your proprietary firm, like your hedge fund. You're auditing them for them to be able to actually provide you good information and good value. So if that's the most important thing, you need to make sure you're going to get good value from them and they're actually going to help you in your journey, then what do you need to actually be looking at? Do you need to be looking at their profitability, like broker statements, or do you need to be looking at something else, which is proof that they've actually helped people? Being able to speak to those people in terms of the experience that they've had with that person and all these things. Because in the end, the numbers don't matter. What matters the most is that they're actually able to help you. That's it, right? Unfortunately, a lot of these guys will have to bloat numbers just so that they can start to get an audience, so that they can actually get some sort of recognition. But in the end, when they start to work with somebody and they help them, those people forget about those numbers. They're focused in on the value that they're getting every single day and the numbers that they are getting, not the numbers that their mentor or whatever is getting. Going back to the whole broker statements thing, I mean, even if, they're real, like I said, it's not really, there's still a lot of things to be considered, but that is only if they're real. And just about every single brokerage statement can be faked. And if it's not with a reputable broker, which can't really be quote unquote bought out, it's very easy to just partner up with brokerages or with prop firms. You can very easily create your own prop firm, create your own brokerage, or just partner up with one and just tell them, hey, deposit this much in my account, give me this account history, or fake me this. And just like that, you have broker statements, and people are going to be more willing to pay you $10,000 for some sort of mentorship or $1,000 for a course. Meanwhile, all of it's fake and their strategy is complete fucking dog shit. And then of course, history, a lot of people are going to say, well, what about trading history? If I see like MT4 history, it's going to mean something, right? No, it doesn't mean anything because MetaTrader history can be faked. And if you're thinking, okay, well, what about CTrader? What about a different platform like TradeLocker? Guess what, guys? You can just grab a trade copier. You can grab your MetaTrader account, which you fake everything, and just copy all the trades over to CTrader. Or you can just export a blank CTrader, statement, and then you can just go ahead and copy and paste all in Excel. All this stuff can be faked, and it's very hard to actually verify. And it's unfortunately something that a lot of people ask for, and a lot of people lower their guard when they actually see that, as opposed to lowering their guard only when they build a real connection with that person that they're speaking to, when they actually see real results from their own trading and from helping other people especially. That's what matters the most. What about payouts, right? What about funding certificates? Well, all those can be faked very easily in Photoshop, and a lot of general screenshots can just be inspect elemented. In other words, you click F12 when you're on Google Chrome, and then you just click on the actual number and you just change it. This is something I learned when I was like 7 years old. It doesn't take a genius to do this. So it's very easy to fake all these things, like I said. For prop firms, you can very easily just Photoshop it, and most of the time people won't verify, they won't know how to verify. But there are some people like Iman Trading, IMAN Trading, which expose a lot of these guys and actually explain how they fake these things, the MetaTrader screenshots, the profit screenshots, etc. And a lot of the biggest guys out there, like I said, a lot of the biggest trading YouTubers out there, which you might have heard of, you might be following, you might trust, are all on that list. And it's really unfortunate because a lot of people trust these guys because of the millions of views, because of the quote unquote results. But my point is really that it's very easy to fake these things. You can just change the name on the payout certificate and pretend like it's one of your students and just interview a random person, give them $500. Why do they do this? Because it works. They get sales. Is it legal? Absolutely not. That's why I recommend you guys to speak to my students directly, join my free Discord from the link in my bio, actually message them, ask them about the wins that they're posting, make sure that it's all legit, and find a way to verify it yourself, right? Hop on a call with them and see if they're lying for yourself. Why would somebody do that, right? Like it just makes no fucking sense why somebody would be lying for years and years on end. So after a while, you're gonna have to just find a way for you to feel comfortable. And of course, like I said, if you don't wanna do all that, if you just wanna watch, free videos, get free value and do it on your own, you can. Just be aware of opportunity cost. Just consider that and you'll be good. The other thing that a lot of these gurus don't really talk about are losing streaks and losing trades, win rate and stuff like that. A lot of that is faked or just not talked about. Like I said, they only post when they pass accounts, when they make money. They never post when they lose money. Why? Because a lot of people, they don't want to look at that side of trading. It's a lot easier to sell a course if all you talk about is winners, because as soon as you give them a reality check of you also lose money with trading, a lot of people don't feel as comfortable, right? And if the whole goal is to get a sale, then why would you ever talk about that? But once again, if your whole goal in making a trading course or something is to get a sale, your incentives are completely wrong. You need to put a price so that people actually value it, not to actually just focus in on making money. What matters the most is for you to actually help people. So if you're not providing value in it, then there's no fucking point. You're just throwing trash out there and karma's gonna fuck you eventually. So just be aware that literally anything can be faked, and it's not worth you following somebody that never talks about losers, right? I post my losing trades all the time. I do live trading quite often, and I'm not ashamed to say that oftentimes I lose 60% of my trades, yet I still make money. I made a whole video recently talking about all of that, right? About my trading strategy, makes me multiple 5 figures a month, yet I'm still losing a lot of my trades. And why is that? Because I have a positive risk to reward, because I'm following my plan, because I'm constantly optimizing, and I'm working with prop firms, which I've long ago gotten a return on my investment, and now I'm trading risk-free and making consistent payouts. The math is just completely different with those, and you don't need to have a 90% win rate. Obviously, a higher win rate is better because it helps you with your psychology, but it's not necessary. Now, let me show you the specific lies that are costing traders millions, starting with the most dangerous one. Anyone can get rich trading. I hear this all the time. And now look, I'm not telling you that only some people can trade, right? I'm not telling you that not everybody can make money with trading, but getting rich trading, getting a large amount of wealth is something that not everybody necessarily can achieve, at least within a specific amount of time. I should give a caveat, right? Over a lifetime, I think anybody can get rich with trading with the right help, with the right habits over a very long period of time, like I said. Because in the end, if you're able to consistently make 10K a month and save most of that over multiple decades of trading, I would consider that rich, of course, right? And you would be building wealth over the long run. But most people struggle massively with just being able to follow rules, just in life in general. So imagine trying to follow rules for a trading strategy. Imagine trying to do this for just a few weeks at a time. There's so many things that I've seen which really disappoint me whenever it comes down to humans in general and just people, by not being able to follow simple rules, simple discipline, by being able to just do something simple which will help them get to the goals that they have. So it's not that only some people can make it, it's just that most people are not willing to put in the effort. But if you say anyone can get rich with trading, especially saying quickly or without much effort, if you add that, then that is a lie, because most people are going to, once again, kind of let their guard down and think, whatever, this whole 99% of traders fail statistic is probably bullshit. I'm part of the 1%, even if it is real, I'm gonna make this work, right? This guy knows what he's talking about. So just be aware of that. It is one of the biggest lies out there. You do need to put in effort, and if you do, you will succeed. And anybody can put in effort, so just consider that. Of course, the other thing is, my strategy is the best. My strategy has a 90% win rate. It works on all markets. It's a lie in a sense because they never show proof of that. I almost never see hundreds of trades back tested. I never see them going over multiple years of data, showing different market conditions, explaining why the strategy works, explaining the different concepts they're using, why these concepts work, how they're working, how they've optimized the actual strategy, real market data, live execution. If they don't show that, then this is a lie. Another one too is you need my secret indicator, right? My secret indicator, just pay $99 a month and you'll win 80% of your trades. These are all lies, like all the indicator stuff, like just about all of these are lies and they don't work. Because if they really worked, then why are they selling it to you? That's typically the main question you need to be asking yourself. If it really worked well and they really got insanely good results, then they would just be using it for themselves. Now look, I do understand the concept of if it's working for you and you don't have any reason not to share it, then why not share it and monetize it and build another stream of income? That's cool. But the problem is most of these, they don't actually provide real data that allows you to make an educated decision as to why you should be using it. And the real indicators, the real, automated strategies or the real pieces of Confluence which actually really help you are typically either going to be free and easy to access, you just don't know how to use them yet, or they're going to be charging you a lot more money and they're going to make it a lot more exclusive because it is something that's highly valuable. So it's going to be either one of those two, or it's going to be totally secret and sold to a hedge fund. I've also heard things like risk management doesn't matter with my system. I don't know what to say to that. As traders, we are risk managers first. We're not supposed to focus on profit, because if you focus on profit, you're going to go into greed. If you focus just on losses, you're going to go into fear. You need to stay focused in on risk, because if you manage your risk, you'll make money. And whenever you're losing money, you'll be losing a lot less than you would normally. So saying risk management doesn't matter with my system is bullshit. There's literally no way that your system is not going to need risk management. I'm sorry. No matter what your win rate is, no matter what it is you're doing, no matter what the market is, you will always need risk management. I've also heard, trading is easy with the right strategy. Trading is not easy. I don't think most things are easy. I think most things are simple. Trading is simple. People overcomplicate it, right? So it's not easy. It's just maybe easier with some systems. But honestly, it's mostly just a thing of simplicity. If it's simpler, it's easier for you to understand, but it's not necessarily going to be easier for you to actually apply in the live markets. There's always going to be some sort of, barrier, some sort of mental barrier, some sort of, resistance, right? Some sort of difficulty that you're going to have to actually learn trading and apply these systems because of trading psychology, because of the typical learning curves, because of market tuition. The most important thing for you guys to understand is the psychology of why we believe these lies, why we believe what a lot of these people say, why you guys are more likely to click on an ad which promises easy money than an ad which doesn't but promises a real system. It's just simple psychology, guys. If you find something which sounds like it's going to be easy, sounds like it's going to make your life easy, it's just going to make things simple, part of you is just going to shut off your brain and think, I just hope this works, right? I just hope this works. I'm going to send them, my life savings. I really hope this is not a scam. And unfortunately, just about every time it is, right? Because once again, you're not actually using your rational brain. You're just emotionally making a decision without any sort of mix of emotion and rationale. So that's why the whole impersonators thing happens so often, and that's why it works so well. I have hundreds of people on Discord and on social media which pretend to be me. They put on my profile photo, they put my name, they put all these things, and they message a bunch of people which are working with me or have heard of me. And then they promise, copy trading. They promise like, I'm gonna manage all of your trades. I'm gonna make you 200% a month. Just make an account at this brokerage here with this crypto exchange. Just send me 5,000, deposit 10,000 here. And people, they go through all these steps right here without really questioning it because they have a bit of trust from believing that it's me or somebody that they basically trust. And by thinking, oh wow, this is exactly what I've needed. I don't really know the details, but if this works, it's great. And they only start to ask questions after they've paid, after they've sent money. Just about every time I've gotten a message of somebody being worried is after they sent money, after they lost 5K, 10K, 20K. And then they're like, fuck, I had a feeling this might not be legit. And I asked them, why did you do it? Why didn't you message me before? And the answer is always, I don't know. I just hoped it was real. That's the hope exploitation business system. Very unfortunate that it exists, but well, it's better for me to just educate you guys and be aware of how to actually avoid it yourself, because in the end, you're the only one which can avoid scams that can prevent them. Not really much more can be done. Unfortunately, with the internet, a lot of things are anonymous. They can just make new accounts. So instead of hoping that one day people stop doing that, or hoping there's some sort of system that prevent it yourself. Also look, if you're tired of the BS and want real trading education based off of data and transparency, check out my free course in the description. You can also book a call with me if you want honest guidance. No Lamborghinis, just results. But keep watching because I'm about to expose the specific tactics that your favorite gurus use. Let's get specific. Here are the exact pieces of advice from popular gurus that are destroying your trading accounts. Typically, it's all gonna be about the high win rate obsession. Always about win rate. It's all about, I always win my trade. I haven't lost a trade in 2 months, etc. You really just gotta wonder why gurus do push for the 90+% win rate. Because once again, humans, we want to avoid pain. That's always what we want to do. Why are you moving stop loss break even when you're in a trade? To avoid the pain of losing money when you were up. Why do you avoid taking a trade after you've lost multiple in a row? To avoid losing another one and feeling pain. The list goes on and on. So of course, if you have a 90% win rate strategy or 100%, which I'm sorry, if you believe that, that's crazy. There is no pain. It's just money. It's just joy, right? It's just pure greed, which obviously makes it very easy for you to click on the video, right? And try to buy some sort of course because it promises what you wish would be reality. Meanwhile, it's not. The hidden truth is, unfortunately, there's terrible risk reward if they actually do have a 90% win rate, or they just don't have a 90% win rate and they're just lying. It could be as simple as they have a really, really weird strategy where as soon as they're up 0.1 risk to reward, they move stop loss break even. And they just exclude that from the whole win rate. It's important to consider win rate, loss rate, and break even rate. I don't know if you guys have thought of doing that before, but it's really important to look at that for your own strategy and when considering somebody else's strategy or whatever. So they do that very often. And if they're sending signals and they claim 90% win rate, they're either going to be deleting signals, editing signals, or doing what I just talked about, making TP1 like 1 pip away so that right away they say, we're massive profits, move stop loss, break even. And then when they have a winning trade, it's like a 2 or 3 risk to reward. And when they have a losing trade, they try to just hide it or whatever. They say it was a small loss, I cut it early, blah, blah, blah. And they're able to just gloat that they have a crazy win rate because almost all their trades are break even, or they're deleted, or they're edited, or they're wins for like 0.5 risk to reward or something. And that's not going to make you profitable. A lot of people which pay to be in these kinds of signal rooms, these kinds of mentorship, it's not really mentorship realistically, but anyways, these kinds of like programs, they don't make any money. They lose a lot of money because they miss out on the winning trades, and they just look at the Telegram group at the end of the day and thought, wow, there's just 3 wins today. If you're looking at it every minute, you would have seen many losing trades. You would have seen them editing the messages. You would have seen that a lot of these winning trades were not even that big. You wouldn't even know how to actually throw all these numbers onto TradingView and review it, to actually basically back test and study all of these signals, study all their numbers and make sure that they're profitable. And even if you did, you'd probably be upset, and then you would need to build your own strategy in the end. So why not just build your own strategy to begin with? Then of course, there's the classic trade all day advice that's designed to blow your account while lining their pockets. You gotta think about this, guys. This whole over trading propaganda, why the hell are they telling you to take so many trades, to stare at the charts all day, 20 trades a day, 50 trades a day. Why? Like every time that they say something, figure out what is their incentive? Why are they saying this? Is it legit? Does it make sense? If not, then what are they looking for? What do they want from you? It's so simple, guys. More trades just means more spread and more commissions. That's literally it, right? If you're doing some sort of copy trading thing, or if you're, recommending people to go to a brokerage and you're basically forcing them to, and you're telling them to take a bunch of trades, they are making multiple 5, if not multiple 6 figures from your commissions. And unfortunately, a lot of the time they're gonna be losing a lot of money, and they know that, which means they're gonna be working with a B-booked broker. In other words, none of the trades go to the real markets. In other words, every time that you lose money, they make money. Usually half of whatever you're losing, they're keeping, and the other half goes to the brokerage. So if you deposit 10K and you lose all their money, they just made 5K and the brokerage just pocketed 5K alongside probably hundreds or even thousands of dollars of commissions. So just remember that, guys. They're not incentivized to tell you 1 trade per day. I always preach less trades. 1 trade per day is an optimal number. If you're gonna do more, cap it to 2 or 3 and make sure you have some sort of software that prevents you from over risking or over trading, or else as soon as you go past your first trade, that's when the real issues can come in. Ideally in your first and second month of trading, just do 1 trade per day, keep it at that so that you can build the right habits and the right decisions. And then once you have data to prove that more than 1 trade per day might be worth it, then you can do it. And by then you'll be a lot more disciplined. But the most dangerous lie, I think the one that takes the cake, is the one about not needing risk management because their strategy is different. Typically it's going to be this: just follow my signals, don't focus on risk management, just whatever, put in whatever lots you want, just copy me, put in a market order, let it do its thing, and yeah, you'll make a bunch of money, man. Don't worry about it. Then there's some students, which of course will make some money, big accounts, large risk, will make a couple hundred, couple thousand, maybe more. And then of course they're going to post a screenshot, and then of course the person is going to reuse those screenshots for multiple years because, well, there's not so many that they really get. And every time people lose, they just kind of silence that. Right? They don't even allow you to even comment or send those around. That's unfortunately something that happens quite often. And this kind of goes back to my last point. Why do they do that? Because you're going to over risk. In other words, more lots, more size, more spreads, and more commissions. They're going to make more money, and it's just going to make bigger P&Ls for you, both to the wins and the losses. And they're just going to take the wins and post that publicly. Now, let me teach you how to spot a fake trader in under 60 seconds. This skill alone will save you thousands of dollars, if not even more. Here's your red flag checklist. Number 1, no live trading footage. If you never see them trading live, if you don't have any sort of raw unedited videos of seeing them actually trade live, or at least if you can't request it in case they don't have that publicly for some reason, that's already a red flag. Red flag number 2, they're only showing winners. They never talk about losers. They never talk about their risk to reward, where they actually entered, exited, how they manage their trades. Red flag number 3, only showing broker statements, well, parts of broker statements, editing them, cropping them, or just kind of showing a random PDF. That's usually something that can be faked very easily, and if they're always promoting it, always pushing it, saying I'm legit because of this, but probably not legit because they're pushing it so much. They're trying to put it so far in your face that you don't even question it. Red flag number 4, this is one of my favorite ones, is the lifestyle marketed focus. In other words, they're always showing Lamborghinis, they're always showing fancy dinners, fancy travels, watches, etc. They're not showing actual trading results, real trading charts, trade breakdowns, actually providing real value. It's just, I'm making a bunch of money, want to make money like me, buy my course, which is a bunch of bullshit because I don't even really trade. Red flag number 5, no discussion of losses ever, right? They only show wins, they never show losses, they never explain them. Red flag number 6 is the whole secret strategy claims, the 90% win rate, the secrets the bank don't want you to know, the secret indicators, whatever. Anytime they say secret, 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 they don't actually explain it, and it's all just a bunch of bullshit or something really basic. That's another red flag. And red flag number 7 is going to be the urgency and the scarcity. Red flag number 7 is going to be the urgency and scarcity tactics. If they're always saying, there's only one spot available, or this strategy only works today, or watch this video before 2 p.m. or whatever. They're trying to get you to watch something, to pay more attention, and to usually pay for something. The only way that the whole scarcity thing makes sense is if they're actually working one-on-one with people, and they won't be promoting that constantly on YouTube or on social media. They're only going to be discussing that in private conversations in case somebody is looking to work with them, and they're just giving them the information. Look, I'm kind of booked out right now. I don't have much time. It's up to you in terms of if you want to do this now or if you want to do this later. If they're constantly pushing for it though, and being super pushy and hard selling all the time, that is a red flag. It means that they really need the money. Like I said earlier, if you want to see how they fake these kinds of results on MetaTrader broker statements, go to Iman Trading on YouTube and you'll see tons of videos. There's also lots of other guys out there which actually show these types of things. Just go to YouTube or ChatGPT or Google and just search how to fake these things. and you'll see how to do it very quickly. So then if everyone's lying, how do you find real education? Someone that actually has your best interest in mind. Here's exactly what to look for. Let's talk about green flags this time. They show losing trades and they're very open about them. And not only that, but they actually break them down. And they explain whether this was a really good loss or a really shitty loss. In other words, was it technical mistakes? Was it a psychological mistake? Was it just based off their edge? Is there anything they wanted to change? They actually break it down and they explain it. Number two, they discuss risk before reward. They're not always just talking about wins, reward. They're talking about risk, reward. They're explaining the risk. They're explaining how to manage it. Number three, they're teaching concepts. They're actually helping people one-on-one. They're giving them real value, not just signals, not just copy me and you'll make money, not just don't risk anything, don't use risk management, you'll make a bunch of money. If they're always talking about risk management and helping people to actually manage risk first, they're real traders, because like I said, traders are risk managers first, not profit oriented. Just remember that whenever you watch a YouTube video. Four, they're also transparent about difficulty. I'm not always telling you guys trading is easy. Trading is simple. I might have said trading is easy or simple a couple of times, but I gave clear context in terms of why that is. Like I said today, it's really not that complicated to make trading work, but you do need to actually surpass mental barriers, which can be difficult. Number five, long-term track records. You need to see multiple months, ideally multiple years, of them being online, of them showing actual trading activity, of them understanding trading, of them progressing. It's something that's really important, or else you'll have no idea if they just bought, some random course and they're basically just rehashing that on YouTube. Number six, ideally they have no lifestyle marketing or very little. There's nothing necessarily wrong with, of course, making money with trading and then, using it to buy cars and watches and stuff. That's fine. You can do whatever you want. But if that's what you're always marketing, always showing instead of showing actual charts, executions, and what actually matters in trading, which is the education and understanding really what it is, that is a red flag. Well, now that we've destroyed the myths, let me show you what actually creates profitable traders. Spoiler alert though, it is pretty boring. The unsexy truth about trading is that real consistency comes from really boring trading. The real edge is consistency over excitement. In other words, just be consistent, follow your plan, and don't try to make this whole thing exciting. It's not meant to be exciting, it's meant to be very boring and simple and repeatable. I don't think most people with their professions are super excited about, making a new blueprint for this new house. I mean, it's cool, but they're more focused in on making sure that they're actually doing their job properly and they're providing good value so that, the architect that's making the blueprints makes it properly and they don't fucking make the whole house crash multiple years later. As a trader, you need to think like a professional, not like an addict. Proper back testing is super important, not just cherry picking screenshots. You can't just randomly go to TradingView, find a random YouTube video, look at 3 trades in hindsight and think this works. You need to backtest hundreds of trades like I've talked about in my backtesting videos on YouTube, because if you don't do this properly, you're never gonna get good results. And before you say backtesting doesn't work, Sab, I've tried it, didn't work, you didn't do it correctly. I'm sorry, I don't mean to call you out, but it is important for you to be aware that backtesting works, and I've proven it with myself and with hundreds of my students. This shit works. If you do it properly, it will translate to real results. Risk management is super important. You can't be thinking in Lamborghinis, you need to be thinking in R. If you're not thinking in R and realize risk to reward and actual real win rates, win rate, loss rate, break-even rate, you're not going to succeed. It's important to be thinking over multiple years of practice and over multiple years of plans, instead of 30-day flipping my account 10x type of challenge. That's just gonna build the wrong habits. You need to be super focused on data tracking as well. Of course, in your back testing, it's important to journal everything, grab all of your data, revise it properly, but continue doing it in the real markets. That's where it's really important. The realistic timeline to profitability is not a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Realistically, if you're doing it properly with the right help and you're locked in, then yes, you can make it happen in a few months. But that's a few months of you struggling, of you learning a lot, of you not making any money, and then eventually you do find that consistency. Well, you're not going to be a consistent trader in 3 months. It's probably going to take you more like a year or something, but within 3 months, you can make multiple 5 figures if you have the right help, if you have the right account, and if you have the right, strategy. Gurus can't sell this because it's not sexy. It's really that simple. Here's what I tell everyone who asks me about trading, and it's why most gurus hate me. You need to be expecting to lose at first. You're gonna have a losing phase before you win, and before you win and you're profitable, you're gonna have a break-even phase. So you're gonna go from losing, not knowing what the fuck's going on, market tuition, to a break-even phase, which is gonna be frustrating, and then you're going to start to be profitable on a small scale, and then you're gonna be scaling up. This whole process could be over multiple years if you don't know what you're doing. If you have no guidance, you could be stuck in a loop for a long time. That's why having the right guidance can help a lot. That's also why I made my free course, so that you can actually have an idea of what real profitable traders do, over these different phases, going from beginner to starting to make money to scaling up and then getting to very large numbers. Because without this, most people are just going to continue watching shitty YouTube videos thinking that that's what real trading is. Meanwhile, trading is not account flips, it's consistent account growth. The time investment truth is also something to consider. I do mention this, you don't need to put that much time into trading. A full-time trading should not be a thing. You should not be 8 hours a day, every day staring at the charts. You're going to lose money by doing that. But it's not like you can just start trading right now as a beginner, put in an hour a day and make $1 million. That's not how it works. You need to put multiple hours a day ideally for the first couple of months so that you can actually bathe in the sauce of trading, get really familiar with trading, start to have all of your thoughts, all of your dreams all about trading so that you learn faster, so that you start to think as a trader, and so that you can do the right things day in, day out. Then of course, after a few months, you're gonna be able to do less than an hour a day very easily, maybe even 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how your strategy works and your whole process and how well you're doing. But that's not day one. That's a couple months down the line. Well, you now know more about spotting fake traders than 99% of people. Here's how to use this knowledge to actually succeed. You need to start off by deprogramming your mind. Unlearn the guru myths. Everything that they've told you that don't actually have some sort of clear reason as to why, some sort of data to prove it, or they don't actually help you prove that it works for your specific situation, you need to unlearn. For example, risk 1% per trade. That's bullshit. Right? It can work in some situations, but it totally depends on your data, the kind of prop firm account you're working with, the kind of live account you're working with, the kind of strategy, etc. There's so many other things to consider. Or things like never trade on news days. Where's the proof of that? Show me trading proof with your strategy and with the way that you're going about it, that it actually makes sense, right? If you're using a prop firm, then yes, don't trade within 5 minutes of news. Typically, most prop firms don't allow that, but you need to have a clear reason as to why that relates to your strategy, and so on and so forth. There's so many of these out there. Anything that comes to mind in terms of I have to do this, I have to do that. Another classic one I've heard is, oh, I'm scared of trading crypto because it's too volatile. Guys, that makes no sense. It means literally nothing. You could be trading gold, Euro USD, Bitcoin, some sort of altcoin like Dogecoin, I don't know, NASDAQ, Apple stock. It's all the same. It's all the exact same. What matters, guys, is the time frame, the entry, stop loss, take profit, and your risk management. That's it, right? Apple stock in the 1 minute might move even more than Bitcoin in the 1 minute, right? Or then, I don't know, gold. That's not what matters, guys. The whole volatility thing doesn't matter, right? I don't want to lose money too quick. I'm scared of the volatility. It'll move too fast. Okay, sure, some pairs move faster, right, than others. So choose one that you prefer, but don't scare away from a whole asset or asset class just because somebody told you it's too volatile. Bullshit, guys, right? Learn how to think, not just what to think. Focus on data, not dreams. Reset your expectations, right? Once again, make a clear plan and reverse engineer from there. I talk about that in the free course, and if you want to hop on a call with me, we'll talk all about that so that you understand, if you have a goal of, let's say, 10K a month, you'll know exactly how to get there each and every month, each and every week, each and every day in terms of the process, making sure that you have things to track to make sure that you're actually on the right path. Like I've said before, you need to build your own strategy. Don't copy a strategy, don't copy somebody else, build your own strategy. Understand what a strategy is, understand how to build it, and make it happen. Don't make it happen in a month or a year after I copy these signals. Start now. Track everything religiously. Like I said, if you're not tracking, well, somebody else is, and they're gonna succeed and you probably won't, because you won't know what's happening when you're winning and when you're losing, and next thing you know, you're in a multi-month losing streak and you have to start from scratch. It's really important to just embrace the boring truth. Whenever you do, you'll have less resistance and you'll be a much better trader. And it's actually gonna be fun because you'll realize you'll be able to enjoy the excitement of life and the boring nature of trading. It's like yin and yang. I know this video might have crushed some dreams, but this is why it's actually good news. The opportunity in truth is that there's a lot less competition, right? If you couldn't even sit through this video, however long it is, then, well, you're not listening to me for one, but if you are, you need to be aware that most people don't. They don't sit through videos this long because it's not talking about super flashy stuff. If you're still here and you're still motivated, you've now beat 90% of people which were interested in trading but weren't serious about it, which means you have way less competition than you may realize. You also have a clear path now, right? You actually know what to do next. You know exactly what your day-to-day and week-to-week looks like. That's why I make the YouTube videos that I make, so that you can get as much free value as possible. And the free course is like super well structured so that you have that. Most people, like I said, they don't want to sit through that. They don't want to follow a process. They just want to get results right away. You also have more realistic goals, which means you'll actually be able to hit them. You're not going to be aiming for a crazy number, a crazy result in a super short amount of time. You'll be aiming for a realistic result in a realistic amount of time, and then bigger results in a longer period of time. You're also going to save yourself a lot of money because now you know that most of the shit out there is bullshit. and you're going to know how to actually find real traders, real mentors, real people which have actually helped real people. You're going to get faster real progress, and of course you're going to find a community of real traders. You're going to know how to spot the real ones from the bad ones, and it's going to help you learn faster. You have a massive advantage over dreamers now. It's really just the truth. Most people are just going to quit most things they start in life. That's why most New Year's resolutions don't work out, because it's just a dream. It's not an actual plan which has both the this will work very easily and this won't work very easily sides covered, right? So that you actually have a plan when things are working well to stay motivated, and when things are not working well, you already planned for it by not overexerting yourself. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with one question that matters more than any strategy or guru. Are you willing to do the boring work for the exciting results? Most answer no, because they want shortcuts. Or they answer yes, but it's not truthful. You need to understand what saying yes really means. There will be pain, there will be a lot of effort, there will be a lot of investment, both time, money, energy required on your end to make it happen, but the reward will be worth it. You need to be committed. You need to be aware that the rewards are going to be based in reality and not dreams. And there's a choice presenting itself in front of you. Am I going to take this seriously or not? And if your answer is yes, then in the next 30 days, I recommend that you unlearn as much as you can, you consume the right information, and you start to apply it, and properly. Like I said, if you want to have my help in doing this, you really don't need to work with me. You don't need my help. But if you do, and you want to get there faster, just go ahead and message me on Instagram. The link is in the description, or book a call from my website, or watch the free course, and you'll be able to see whether or not I'm legit. So there it is, the truth about trading education that the gurus don't want you to know about. You're now immune to their BS, and you're ready to build real trading skills based off of real data, not dreams. Now watch this trading playlist next. I've put together some of my best trading videos on there. This is what most gurus should be teaching, but don't, because it doesn't sell courses. Enjoy.